Hey guys, Dan Williams here from Range of Motion. Welcome to this live webinar. What I'm going to do is we'll give a minute or so for those people who are joining us live to jump in onto the feed. I'm just going to take you through some resources and stuff that I've got available, give you a little bit of an intro into what we're going to be talking about today, just while we wait for people. I know a lot of people will be watching this on a delay, on replay. But either way, feel free to post questions, comments, thoughts below. So guys, what are we going to be talking about today? Basically, I want to talk to you about how to create systems to run and automate your business. The reason that I see this being a problem is because most people, they have a lifestyle which they have designed to be able to run their business. So their business is determining their lifestyle. But what we're trying to do is we are trying to create a business. We're trying to design a business which allows us to choose our lifestyle. So we want our lifestyle to be independent of our business. And basically systems, the creation of systems are a really good way to do that. So again, just while we're waiting for people to jump on, hi Lisa, thanks for joining us. Just while we're waiting for people to jump on, guys, let me share a couple of resources with you, which I think can be beneficial. Available to Perth fitness professionals. The first, some of you may have seen a new Instagram page that I've launched, which is rom_business_mentoring. Primarily, this will be used for Insta stories to basically give a bit of a glimpse into the back end of a lot of the work that I do with Range of Motion. So you can sort of pull back the curtain a little bit and document the process. So hopefully some things that you can learn from that. The second resource, guys, is our fitness business series. This is a part podcast, part written content series that takes you through 29 different areas that I think are absolutely key for running a successful business. You can find that, guys, free access to Perth fitness professionals. That's available online at rangeofmotion.net.au/fitness-business-series-landing-page. I will post the link to that in comments. Second resource for you guys is a quick quiz to find out. Hi Matt, thanks for joining us. Second resource is a quick quiz to find out how advanced your fitness business is. So a quiz that you can take to basically see what grade, A+, A, B-, D, your fitness business is. You can find that rangeofmotion.net.au/fitness-business-quiz. And the third and final resource is my content creation masterclass. Those of you who are looking to become multimedia companies as opposed to just a fitness business, you guys can get free access to that, rangeofmotion.net.au/CC masterclass. All right, thanks for those of you who have joined us already. Let's kick this thing off. As we go, guys, whether you are watching live or on delay, please do post any questions you have below. I'll do my best to answer them either as we go, but I can guarantee I will be able to jump in and answer any questions either live or delayed as they are posted in the coming minutes, hours, days, and weeks. So, systems, what are we looking to do? Basically, we are looking to create automation and autopilot in your business. And what I'm going to be going through with you today are 4 different things. We're going to be talking about the roles in your business. We're going to be talking about the tasks in your business, the systems that we create in your business, and then finally how these 3 things come together to form a policies and procedures manual. Now, I know a lot of you guys watching will have quite a young business. Maybe it's not mature, maybe it's not very well established. Some of you may have a more well-established business, a little bit more mature. And what you'll find is that these 2 different groups of people, these 2 different groups of businesses will have different sort of priorities. If you are a young business, you probably don't have a lot of money to be throwing at it, but you probably do have a lot of time. So if you are new in your business journey, what you need to be doing is using the resource of time, spending your time to earn money. However, if you're more mature, and obviously this is the point that we are trying to move your business towards on this continuum of your business age, if you're mature, then you probably don't have as much time because the business is starting to take a lot of your time, but because the business is starting to become successful, you do have more money. So in this case, the resource that you have more of is money. You don't have much time. So a mature business owner will use their money to buy themselves time. And this is where we come back to that lifestyle point. This is the point that we're trying to get to. So the purpose of this, guys, is to help to rapidly mature your business in the next 20 or 30 minutes. Hopefully we can really increase the age of your business in terms of how successful it is by using systems and automation. So again, to summarize, we're going to talk about roles, tasks within the roles, systems, so we can automate those tasks, and finally your policies and procedures document. So let's kick this off firstly by talking about the roles in your business. The roles in your business are the different things that you have to do, the different hats you have to wear. Now, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this sort of concept, you can look up a guy called Edward de Bono, and he has a book called The 6 Thinking Hats. And it's basically this model that is used a lot in businesses, in corporations, where you have different hats, metaphorical hats that you put on for different roles within your business and for different tasks. So maybe you have a hat that you put on which is more about creativity, a hat that you put on that is more about the bottom line, your accounting hat. We play these different roles. And in a fitness business, or any business for that matter, the same thing applies. We have these different roles that we have to take on. Now, for a lot of people in a less mature fitness business, you are doing all of these roles. You are the cleaner, you are the personal trainer, you are the group fitness instructor, you are the programmer, you are the social media marketing manager. You do all of these things. But a good thought experiment and a good way to think about the identification of these roles is to think, if money wasn't an issue, if I had a lot of money but not much time, and therefore I wanted to spend my money to earn myself more time as a resource, which roles would I employ? Which employees would I bring on? Would I bring on an accountant? Would I bring on a cleaner? Would I bring on a team of personal trainers? If you can do that, that's a really good way to identify the roles in your business. So that's the first thing that you have to do, guys, as part of this systemization process. Identify what the roles are in your business. There are 2 main benefits of this. The first is for scalability. There is only so much that you can do on your own. And whether you are actually looking to hire in the long run, or whether you're just happy with the size that your business is now, to be able to scale the business, you need to have a good identification of the roles. Of course, if you are looking to bring on staff, scaling your business by bringing on staff for some of those low value roles, which I will expand on in a moment, is a really good strategy. Now, this is also a really good way to get you comfortable with some sort of delegation. If you are comfortable in saying, here is a role that I've established really well, you can then hand that role over to someone else to allow yourself to take on those higher value tasks. So that's our first benefit of identifying these roles in your business. It gives you scalability. And secondly, it gives you some sort of exit plan. So a lot of you probably aren't thinking about what happens at the end of your business. Do you sell it? Are you building an asset, or are you just trying to build it to support a lifestyle that you have? Regardless of which of these 2 options you're going with, having an exit strategy is a great idea. And if you can start building your business with the end result in mind, so you start building it on day one thinking, what am I creating in the long run? What is the final destination for my business? Is there an opportunity to exit because I've built this big capital wealth, I've built a lot of value there? If that is the case and you're able to do that, then it allows you to either have a full or a partial exit from your business. Now, a partial exit from your business would be bringing on the cleaner. It's 1 less role that you have to take. Bringing on the accountant, it's 1 less role that you have to take. Bringing on a programmer or a group fitness instructor. So those are the 2 really important reasons that we should establish those roles in your business. Those different hats that you can wear in your business. That is your first step. So once you've done that, that's step 1, you identify those roles in your business. Then you should write a job description for each of those roles. Now, your job description is just like if you were advertising to in a paper on LinkedIn, advertising on Seek to try and get people into your business, to try and get new staff, employees into your business. Write down a 1 or 2 sentence job description. What does that role entail? What does wearing that hat, that particular hat in your business, what does that entail? Now, even if you're not looking to hire, the pure exercise of doing this can be a really good way to really lock down and identify what it is that you should be doing. So identify the role, write a job description for each of these roles, then write down the key competencies. So again, write these as if you were writing them for someone else. What qualities, what values are you looking for? What skill set are you looking for your cleaner, for your marketing manager, for your culture officer, for your social media person, what are the key qualities here? The key qualities, the key competencies in a cleaner would be very different to what you're looking for in a personal trainer. Different skill sets for different tasks and for different roles. So it's important to write down these key competencies. Firstly, so if and when you do scale and you do hire staff in the long run, you're able to say, well, this is what I'm looking for. This is the sort of person that I'm looking for. But secondly, because you actually need to shift roles yourself. So maybe you're there playing the role of the personal trainer and someone comes up to you and they need you to play the role of the accountant for a couple of seconds. You can metaphorically switch hats, and you know that by putting on your accountant hat, there's a different set of roles, a different set of key competencies that you have. So very important to be able to differentiate between those different areas. And finally, the final big benefit of identifying these roles here is that it allows you to outsource low value tasks. So as you start to grow and scale your business, what you want to do is say, which of these roles, which of these hats that I'm wearing is delivering the greatest value to my business? Now that value may be measured by its impact on the culture of your business, by its impact on your lifestyle, by its impact on your free time, or by its impact on the bottom line if we're looking at this purely financially. So we can look at this and say, which of these roles is earning me the least? Now let's say that you can pay a cleaner for $30 an hour. That's their hourly rate. Why would you spend $30 an hour on you doing that if you can be running your role as a personal trainer for $100 or $120 an hour, doing more personal training clients, therefore having a much higher net gain just by paying $30 an hour for a cleaner? You can identify the high value roles, shift your operations into those higher value roles, outsource and hire to cover those lower value roles. Really effective way of building that scaling through your business. So that is our first step. That is the number one thing we need to do to create a systemized, automated, well-run, well-oiled machine as a business. Identify the roles. Once you've done that, we can move on to the tasks. And this is the second point. So if we think of this like a big flow chart, we have our roles across the top. Each role has a job description and then the key competencies. Under each of those roles, we have a series of different tasks. And these come off. And if we look at this flow chart running down, each of these tasks then comes off one of these roles. So tasks are simple. They are quite simply the actions that your business has to complete. The day-to-day operations. I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I have to do this. These are literally the tasks in your business, the entire sum of your operations. Now, there are two ways that we can identify what these tasks are. And I would suggest that you actually do both of these. One is working from the top down, the other is working from the bottom up, and I'll explain that a little bit more now. So the first thing we can do to identify the tasks in your business is to say, all right, what are our roles? We've pre-established these roles, these different hats within our business. What are they? Now, what does each of those roles have to do? What tasks, what actions does the cleaner have to take? What actions does the accountant have to take? What actions does the graphic designer have to take? You ask yourself that question, you write down every single task for every single one of those roles, and that's probably the best place to start in terms of getting together this task list, because we can't systemize and automate until we know what it is we're systemizing, what it is that we are automating. So that would be the first option, the first way that we can start to identify these tasks. The second way we can do it is a little bit more time intensive, but it's also much more thorough. And that is basically for an entire week, for 7 days, write down every single action that you take in your business. Everything you do. The cleaning, working with clients, sending through emails, doing your social media. Every single thing you do which is involved or related in some way to your business, write that down. Then, with that massive list of tasks, look at each of them and say, which role does this belong to? I am vacuuming the floor. This belongs in the cleaner role. I am sending a client a follow-up email from a PT session. This goes in the role of the personal trainer. Work your way through the list, allocate each item in that list into one of your key roles in the business. Now, this is really useful because it guarantees that everything you do is covered, but it's also really useful because if you identify a task that you complete in that 7 days, in that week, If you identify a task and you can't neatly slot it into one of those roles that we've established, it tells you that there's a role missing. So this is also a really good way to cross-check and double-check that you are in fact putting together systems for every single role in your business to give it real sustainability and real scalability to, in the end, ultimately help the bottom line there. So if we look at the example of something like a content creator. So let's say that you've identified a role in your business as someone who is going to create and send out and distribute and automate your content. What are the tasks for this person? Well, maybe they have to take photos for the documentation of what's happening in your gym or training facility. They have to write blogs. They have to do a Facebook Live video twice a week. They have to design the thumbnails for your YouTube videos on your YouTube channel. They have to record your podcast. And again, any or all or more or less of these may be potential tasks that we would list under that hat, under that overall primary role of the content creator. So we've identified the roles in your business. We've written down a job description and key competencies for each. We've then identified all the tasks in your business, either by looking at each of these roles and writing down what they have to do, and or writing down everything you do in a week and putting them into one of these different roles. Now we can actually move on to practically executing these tasks, taking these actions and actually making them happen. This is where the planning stage starts to come to an end and the actual application starts to come in. So systemizing and actioning tasks. What do we need to do here? Well, a system is basically a criteria, a set of checkpoints that if you do these things, it gives you a predictable end result. Think of a pilot going through a checklist in the cockpit prior to takeoff. Let's say that they have 200 tasks that need doing. If they do those 200 tasks in the same order, in the same way, eventually the plane will be in the air. That's basically what we're looking to do, to create a predictable set of actions that lead to a predictable outcome. Another example, think of it like a chain of dominoes. So you line all those dominoes up and you know that if you push down that first domino, eventually at some point in the future, that final domino is going to fall. That's what we're looking to do. Let's talk about three major benefits of creating systems in your business, creating these checklists which lead to a predictable outcome. The first thing is they buy you time. The big concept here, and it is cliche, but it's true, we are trying to improve your ability to work on the business, not to work in the business. Now, a lot of you will be familiar with that concept, but for those of you who aren't, let me give you a basic overview. If you're working in your business, you're doing everything you can just to keep the day-to-day operations happening. There's no actual growth, there's no actual business improvement or development in the long run. If you're working on your business, however, that means that you've automated the day-to-day operations as much as you can of your business. And instead of focusing on the stuff you have to do just to keep your head above the water, you can actually get ahead. Working on your business allows for business growth and for business development. The second big value here of systemizing and actioning your tasks is that it increases the time that you can then spend on these higher value tasks. By putting these things on autopilot, you're able to then spend more time doing the things which are going to give you a greater return, be it a return on your lifestyle, your culture, your finance, your bottom line. And finally, we can look at maintenance versus development. Maintenance is super limited. Trying to keep running the business you never feel like you quite catch up. You feel like the business is always just a couple of meters ahead of you. You can never get there. Systemizing these tasks is a way for you to actually get an advantage, to get a head start, and to get a lead over your business. That lead equals business growth. So what I've done is I've created a hierarchy where we can choose and we can start to determine how we're able to systemize and automate our business. And there are 5 different steps. We have, the first step would be elimination, then systemization and automation. Third step would be delegation. Fourth step is to systemize and then having some sort of recurring schedule. And also delegation in there as well. So we can basically look at these steps. The way this hierarchy works, and I'll talk you through each of these stages now, but the way this hierarchy works is for each of the tasks in your business, we say, does the top of this hierarchy work? Can we eliminate this task altogether? If we can eliminate the task completely, then we can say, all right, that's where we stop in the hierarchy. It doesn't need to go any further. If we can't eliminate this task, can we go down to systemization and automation? We're trying to take each task that we've identified under each role that we've identified and make each of those tasks as high as possible up that hierarchy. The ones at the top are the least amount of long-term work, therefore you can automate them. The ones down the bottom are the most amount of long-term work. We're trying to make this as efficient as possible. So let's talk through the stages of this hierarchy. Firstly, we have your elimination. This is when you don't actually need to do the task at all. So there's a task in your business and you think, hang on, do I actually need to be doing this? Is this gelling with my mission statement? Is this gelling with the final direction of the business of where I want it to go? If it's not, remove it completely, easy. There's definitely less time spent doing something then because you've removed it completely. The second stage of our hierarchy is the setup. And this is where we have one usually pretty time intensive action that we need to take. But once it's done, it is done forever. So this is basically where you are setting and forgetting. You're setting something up and then it's finished. Usually a big initial one-off time investment, but once it's set up, it just happens automatically. It's not even a system, it's one and done. So let me give you an example of this. At Range of Motion, we systemize a lot of our culture. So people think, well, culture is you can't really put your hands on it. It's not a tangible thing, but you can create and design your culture. If you're interested in learning more about this, guys, check out the free fitness business series that's available to you guys, where I've done an episode on core values and culture. So one of the ways in which we start to systemize our culture, and one of these examples of a setup, one big foul swoop that is there then forever, is to support our culture of pursuing and celebrating growth and achievement, which is one of Range of Motion's 6 core values. One of the things we do to achieve this by design is by having an achievement board up at Range of Motion. So a big whiteboard, and when people have got a new PB or done something that they've never done before, or just some sort of personal achievement, they then go and write that on the whiteboard. Then at the end of each week, I will post that to social media. So the act of putting that whiteboard on the wall, putting a sign above that says Range of Motion Achievement Board, it was one and done. It took me a little bit of time to do, but now that is in place forever. So there's an example of the second stage of this hierarchy. The first was eliminate. The second one was set up. The third stage of this hierarchy, and these next two are where you will spend most of your time if you are running a fitness business. This is systemize and automate. So let's talk about the systemize part first. A system, like I said, is a checklist. And basically you are just listing every single step that must be taken in a certain task. So remember, let's just zoom out a little bit again. We've got our roles up the top. The hats that your business has to wear, the employees that your business has, the things that you have to do. And then under each of those, you have the tasks. And now we talk about how we can take this task and systemize it. So you need to write down every step that needs to be taken for that task. So for example, let's say that the task is posting a blog to social media. What are the stages here? Firstly, you need to listen to your clients to see what their pain points are. Then you need to research one of these pain points. Then you need to write the blog. You need to find the imagery. You need to publish the blog. You need to post it to social media. And then maybe you need to add it into any automated email software that you have. So you can see we have a checklist there. Under that social media manager role, under the task of writing a blog, this is the checklist that we go through to then actually start to action this task, to action this action. So systemize and automate. You list these tasks and they should be listed in a way that someone who's not you would understand. This comes back to the scalability of the business. Now, often we can use technology for this. So we can use our technology to say, all right, I'm creating a whole bunch of content. I'm uploading it into some automated system. And this is then just happening. So again, it takes a little bit of setup time to create that system, but then it happens automatically. So the example here would be if I am posting every single one of these blogs that I write to social media on a day-by-day basis, it's not a hugely efficient way to do it. But if I take this critical mass, this library of content that I've created, and I upload it into some sort of automated marketing system, automated social media posting system, a lot of work is done early, but then I can set and forget, and it goes and it does its thing. One of my absolute favorite quotes, guys, and this really drums home the point about the importance of systemization for your business. One of my favorite quotes is, negative long-term consequences come from easy short-term actions, whereas positive long-term consequences come from difficult short-term actions. And all that tells you is that if you do a lot of hard work early, you are buying yourself time, you are buying yourself success in the long run. So that's the third level of our hierarchy. The fourth level of our hierarchy now, and again, we work down this list with the different actions that we have to take, the different tasks we have to take in our business, is some sort of delegation. Now, we can start to go to delegation when your business is a little more mature maybe, or if the task that you have to complete is outside your skill set. A lot of businesses, the first thing they will do, or the first role that they bring on, is an accountant. And even if you're using an outside agency, this is effectively an employee. You are hiring them, you are paying them for your services. This is an example of where the skill set is outside your current level of expertise. This is some sort of delegation. Now, we can further delegate in the future as we go when your business becomes more money rich and time poor. Because remember, we use money to buy time when our business is more mature, which is what we're trying to create with this systemization. When our business is less mature, we spend our time to earn money. And that's the position that a lot of you guys will be in at the moment. So the reason this is so far down the continuum, just 2 from the end, is because there is an initial financial outlay here. It does cost money for you to be able to delegate roles to other people. You do still need a checklist though. So when you do this doesn't mean that you don't need to create a system and just say, okay, you do this. You still create a system to ensure that the job is being done to the standard that you require. A lot of small business owners have a problem with delegation because, and there is some truth in this, they believe that someone else is not going to do as good a job as they can do. And that is absolutely true. They may not do as good a job as you can do, but they may do a good enough job. And that's the key. So many small business owners strive for perfectionism. What I think you should be striving for is optimalism. Don't try and be perfect for the given situation. We can get so tied up in this analysis paralysis where we're trying to make it 100% perfect, where maybe 99% would do, or maybe 80% would do. So you being able to delegate and you having systems and checklists in place for the person that you are delegating to will not only make you more comfortable handing over your baby to someone else, but it's also going to make you more comfortable that the task is going to be done to the quality and to the standard that you require. And if it's not done to the quality and standard you require, you've either hired poorly or you haven't created the systems which lead to a predictable outcome. Take responsibility. It is on you. It's not on your employee. It's not on the person that you have delegated to. You take the responsibility for that. Finally, the final of our 5 levels of this hierarchy in terms of where we put these tasks that we have to complete as part of the roles that are in our business is systemise and recurring schedule. Now, this is the last point on the list because this is the most time intensive. And again, the whole point here is that we are trying to buy ourselves time. We are trying to get more time to be able to choose our lifestyle, and then we can then choose to work more if we want to, but it is the choice that we're paying for. It's the choice that we are working for. So very time intensive. Systemising, which we've already talked about, having this list of this is exactly what needs to be done to complete this action, to complete this task. It's very time intensive, or it's more time intensive. The common fault here is that a lot of people will create this system, but then they'll store it in their brain. So maybe they've written out the system, or maybe they haven't. Maybe they're keeping this list, this checklist of what needs to be done for this task in their brain. Some people, they will actually write it down, but then they store the fact that they need to do this in their brain. So they know what the process is, but they have to remember to do this every second day, every 5th day, every Friday. That doesn't work. Our brain can work as a memory tool. It can work as a systemizing tool, but it's not optimized for that. That's not where we're strongest. And if you use up some of that mental bandwidth on you trying to remember the systems, remember when to implement these systems, it means you're removing some of the bandwidth from you being able to be creative, from your brain being able to to have these lapses, to follow different avenues, different routes, different ideas. And creativity is intelligence having fun. And that is important for the long-term growth of your business. So don't use your brain as a storage device. Don't use your brain as a filing cabinet. Don't use your brain as a task manager or a reminder. There are external sources we can do that by systemizing and having some sort of recurring schedule, some sort of reminder. Our brain can be used on being creative, which is what it is most useful for as a business owner. So what this scheduling basically does is it allows us to outsource our memory. So let's say that you have a task to complete. Let's use the example of the personal trainer. Let's say one of the systems that you've built for your personal trainer, one of the tasks they have to do is on the day after every personal training session, they need to send a follow-up email to the client that they had the session with. That's one of their jobs. That's one of their tasks under the role of personal trainer in your business. Now, if we don't systemize this at all, then it's going to be inconsistent. Sometimes it'll be done, sometimes it won't be done. So that's worst case scenario. If you do systemize it, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, if you do that, but you don't somewhere have a reminder to do it, again, it's still going to be inconsistent. Yes, when it's done, the product, the action, the task is going to be consistent, but it's not going to happen all the time. We want a consistent product, a consistent experience, a consistent application of that task, but we want it to be done consistently as well. So let's say that you have to, your personal trainer has to send out an email the day after their PT session has been done with Jane. Jane does a session on a Monday. Tuesday, you need to send out an email. In that email, you need to ask Jane how that session went, how she's feeling. You need to give her any feedback on maybe the 2 or 3 key takeaway points that you learned from that session that you'll improve on next time. And you need to send Jane some sort of resource, preferably something on your website, and this is where your content marketing comes in, some sort of resource to add value to that session that she's done. There's a system that you've created. Easy. Step 1, step 2, step 3, send the email, done. Jane does her sessions on Monday and Thursday. You have your system created. You then have some sort of task manager, and I've spoken about this in the past, but I use a piece of software called Todoist, Todoist.com. And basically what this would allow me to do is type in every Tuesday, every Friday, send Jane email with session debrief, how are you feeling, key lessons, and a resource. I still have to do that every Tuesday and every Friday, but now I don't have to remember the system. I don't have to remember to do it because now I've actually got a reminder coming through telling me what the system is, telling me to do it, prompting me to take that action. Now, this can't be completely, it's not a set and forget. It can't be completely automated, which is why we have to schedule it because the session that Jane is doing will be different on Monday and Thursday. The follow-up has to be different. The conversation that we had with her has to be different. Therefore, the key points, the lessons, the takeaways, and the resource that you're offering will be different too. So you can see why this is down the bottom of our continuum because we've gone as far down as we can to ensure that we're able to be time efficient, but we are also still allowing that personal connection, and that is super important. So again, work from the top of that hierarchy, work from your complete elimination of the task. If you can't do that, then go to a one-time setup. If you can't do that, systemize and automate that task. If you can't do that, then you should delegate it. And if you can't do that, systemize and recurring schedule. Now, if you can't do that, it basically means that you are not effective enough at systemizing. Any task that you must do more than once in the life of your business should have a system. If you have to do something twice, the first time you do it, create the system. It'll take a little bit more time, but in the long run, it will return massive times on that investment, the investment in your time. So those are your 4 steps to be able to then go through and create a system out of the tasks that you're completing. We've talked about the roles. We've talked about these roles, the different hats that you can wear. We've talked about the tasks that each role has to complete, multiple tasks under each role. Then we talk about the system for each of those tasks, the checklist that we have to go through, and what we can do with that based on our hierarchy of actioning. Finally, let's talk about how all these 3 things come together into your policies and procedures manual. So this is basically roles containing tasks, containing systems, everything we've just talked about. Here's my question to you. A, do you have a policies and procedures manual? Perhaps not. B, if you do, if you handed this manual to someone, what percentage of your business could they run without your input? In a perfect world, you do this exercise, identifying the roles, identifying the tasks, creating systems, you put it into this policies and procedures manual, you then hand that manual to someone, hands off, you go on holiday and they run your business as well as you could run your business. They run your business 100%. That is the ultimate, and that is what you are trying to create with your policies and procedures manual. If the percentage of your business that they could run is low, then basically what you've done is you've created a lifestyle that supports your business. If the percentage of tasks that they could do is high, if they could run almost all of your business without your input, then you have created a business that supports your lifestyle. And that's what we're trying to do. Your business is a means to an end. Your lifestyle is not a means to an end. You're creating a business to fuel and to design your lifestyle. So what are the four purposes of this policies and procedures manual? This coming together of these three concepts, the roles, the tasks, the systems that we've talked about today. Firstly, it brings simplicity and order. Guys, it is super, super tough to run a business, and even a simple business can get so complex, and that can really get business owners down. You feel like you're trying to juggle all these balls and you've got plates spinning and there are things going on. You feel like you can never keep up. Sometimes you just want to sit down and you want to say, here is my policies and procedures manual. As much as this brain is overloading, as much as this business is messing with my head, everything I need to do is here. Take a step back, take a breath. As complex as it gets, this is my entire business. So it can be a really good way to bring simplicity and order to your business, allow you to take a step back and go, this is clearly defined what I do. The second purpose of your policies and procedures manual is it's a resource to ensure that you're working at peak efficiency. People talk so much about productivity, about getting things done, but it's about getting the right things done and about getting them done well. If I'm working for 14 hours a day and I don't have a lot to show for it because I haven't been efficient with my work, then it's not a great use of my time. Not just about productivity, but about being productive on the right tasks. So you can revisit this to make sure that you are living by your systems, following your systems to ensure peak efficiency. Third purpose of your policies and procedures manual. If and when in the future you bring staff on board into your business, you have already created a manual that tells them what to do. So your business becomes more mature because of the systemization that we've talked about. Your business becomes more mature. You're then able to say, okay, I have a more mature business. I'm bringing staff on. Here you go, cleaner. This is what I need you to do. Here you go, accountant. This is what I need you to do. Here you go, social media manager. This is what I need you to do. It is done. The scalability is done. And finally, the fourth real benefit of creating a policies and procedures manual for your business is that a policies and procedures manual basically drastically increases the capital value of your business, how much your business is worth. If in the long run, you're looking at an exit strategy, an exit plan to be able to sell your business onto someone, maybe you want to go down a different avenue, maybe you're looking at expansion elsewhere, your business value will be drastically multiplied by having a simple 50-page bound document that says, here is how you run the business. Let me give you an example. Let's say that someone rocks up at your house with every single part that's needed to build a Ferrari. They've got all the nuts and bolts and screws and paint and the raw materials, and the engine is partly assembled, and here are 4 wheels. Handing over those parts to you is not going to mean that you can build a Ferrari. What you're effectively doing is using this policies and procedures manual to say, here are all the pieces of the business and here is how you put them together. Because there's not a lot of value in those parts sitting outside your house if they're not giving you some productive end result, that finalized car. Okay, so those are the 4 big benefits, the 4 reasons that you would have this policies and procedures manual. And personally speaking, having this makes business so much less stressful. Of course, there is still stress involved. Welcome to the world of running your own business. It's still there, but it takes a lot of that stress away because you can consolidate and say, this is how my business is run. And guys, that is the purpose of what I wanted to cover in this live webinar for you guys. Let me do a quick summary for you. This is what you need to do in 60 seconds or less, if I can. This is what you need to do to systemize and automate your business. Step 1, identify the roles in your business, do a job description and key competencies for each. Step 2, identify the tasks that each role has to complete. This can be done either by saying, what is the task each role has to complete, or what is every task I need to complete? Which role does this fit into? If there are any left over, create a new role. Step 3, follow that hierarchy of actioning of these tasks to ensure that we're being as time efficient as possible. And then finally, step 4, combine these 3 elements into a simple, succinct, bound policies and procedures manual that you update as you need to as your business evolves. Guys, that's how you do it. That's how I systemize and automate range of motion and the different branches and arms of the business that we have, and that is what I suggest you guys do as well. Guys, if I can help with this in any way, please let me know. Let's open a bit of a dialogue in comments below. Questions, comments, thoughts, please post them. If you would prefer to contact me privately, you can do in any way you like, either through Range of Motion or my email, which is dan@rangeofmotion.net.au. Guys, I'll remind you again of those free resources that I've got available. Firstly, jump on rom_business_mentoring Instagram page, just set up, which is giving you a glimpse into the back end of how I actually implement some of these strategies practically within Range of Motion. And we've got the Fitness Business Series, the Business Quiz, and also our Content Creation Masterclass. I will post links to those below, guys. Please post your feedback. I will keep these coming. My job is to help you guys out as much as I can, so I'll keep these coming if the feedback is good. So feedback, thoughts, comments, questions, go for it. Let's open a dialogue. Guys, thanks for being such an eager to learn bunch of people. Thanks for being so open-minded and for having such good conversation and debate within this group. Hat off to you, and I've said it before, but so refreshing to see people who have this growth mindset where we want to lift each other up instead of drag each other down. All right, guys, thanks very much. Until next time, if there's anything at all that I can help you with, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'll see you later.